He cut in front of senior citizens like they didn't even exist. Smug, entitled, untouchable, but when karma didn't show up fast enough, I gave it a little nudge with 1 can of gas. If you've ever watched someone walk all over others and wish the universe would finally make it right, you're going to love this story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and prepare for a quiet, subtle revenge that left one guy cold, hungry, and full of regret. This happened just a few days ago at a pretty standard grocery store. You know the kind, bright fluorescent lights, long lines, and the low hum of people just trying to get through the day. I was standing in the regular checkout line, cart loaded with my groceries. Right next to my lane was the priority line, reserved for senior citizens, people with disabilities, or those who just needed a little grace that day. They even had chairs set up for the elderly, and a few older folks were already seated, clearly waiting their turn. And then he walked in. You ever meet someone whose attitude enters the room 5 seconds before they do? This guy, probably mid-30s, Bluetooth in his ear, sunglasses inside the store, casually strolls up, ignores the seated seniors, and cuts right in front of them like he owns the place. At first, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Everyone else had noticed, too. The older folks looked visibly uncomfortable, shifting in their seats, but clearly didn't want to stir up conflict, so I said something. "Hey, they're already in line," I called out, polite but firm. He didn't even look at me, just smirked, shrugged, and said, "I don't see them standing in line." Though, like that was his trump card, I felt my blood pressure spike. Not just from the rudeness, but the way he said it. Dismissive, superior, like the rest of us were idiots for respecting common decency. And that's the moment the whole vibe shifted for me. I didn't push back. I didn't argue. I just simmered. We stayed in our lines, inching forward. I kept stealing glances at his cart. It was packed with what looked like camping gear. Marshmallows, paper plates, a small portable stove, a sleeping bag, snacks, bottled water. And right there, nestled between instant noodles and aluminum foil, was a single can of butane gas. One, just one. It hit me instantly. This guy was going on a camping trip. Probably solo, probably off the grid, and that butane can. That was the beating heart of his whole operation. And then, an opportunity presented itself. He was now deep into a phone call, gesturing wildly, completely distracted, laughing, boasting, and being obnoxious as ever. The cart was pushed just slightly back from him, and that's when I did it. I leaned over, smooth, casual, like I was just adjusting my own cart. I reached in, plucked the butane right out of his supplies, and slid it into mine. My heart was pounding. It wasn't theft. I was fully intending to pay for it. But it was a tiny, delicious disruption to someone who clearly had never been held accountable for anything in his life. He never noticed. Eventually, he checked out, all confident, chatting away on his phone. I watched him walk off, totally unaware that one tiny component of his weekend getaway had just been removed. I paid for all my stuff, including his butane, and walked out feeling like I had just completed a mission. James Bond with a shopping cart, and somewhere out there, this man probably pulled up to his campsite, popped the trunk, set everything up with the same smug energy he brought into the store. I guarantee he bragged about his efficiency, his gear, his flawless planning. Then came the moment of truth. He'd reach for the stove, place it on the rock or table, line up the ingredients, strike the match, and nothing. Click, again, click, click. He'd dig through the bags, maybe even argue with himself. I swear I packed it. But nope, no gas, no flame, no hot food, no s'mores, no camp coffee, just cold beans, crunchy noodles, and, if we're lucky, a dawning realization that he wasn't quite as clever or superior as he thought. I like to think about that moment sometimes, him sitting in the woods, angry, hungry, possibly blaming someone else for the mistake he made. Because guys like that, they never think it's their fault. But here's the truth. He disrespected people who deserved kindness. He used arrogance as armor, and all it took was one small act to throw his perfect little plan into chaos. No confrontation, no shouting match, no social media drama, just a quiet little win. Served at room temperature. Sometimes, justice isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to hit at the right time. In just the right place. I didn't take much from him. Just enough to make him feel, for once, what it's like to be overlooked. If this story made you smile, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying petty revenge you've ever seen? And if you're into justice served chilled with a side of poetic irony, subscribe for more stories just like this. Because sometimes, karma needs a helping hand, and I'm happy to lend mine.